Good day. Hey, this is Gary Spears, and I'm coming to you from the Bartlesville Public Library. And apologize for a little technical difficulties here. But anyway, I think we're rolling now, and hope we got a lot of people listening in on the Facebook Live. We're going to talk about travel, and it's a good subject right now because I think we're all very tired of being stuck at home and ready to start getting out and doing things. And it's been quite a year for the travel business for sure, but things are really starting to improve, and people are now starting to travel. And I think hopefully you all are out there looking forward to doing some travel. In fact, I got a survey today. This was done through Business Wire and Discover, that 70% say they are ready to start traveling again, and 50% of those planning at least one or two vacations in the next 6 months. So I think that kind of shows you, that's a nationwide survey, that it's time to, people are starting to think about it and everything like that. They kind of looked at it further and said, they're looking to spend time with family, basically, is one of the main reasons. And the boomers lead the way with 28% compared to 18% for Gen X and 12% of millennials and 9% for Gen Z, whatever those mean. So I know what the baby boomers mean. So anyway, so I think 80% of consumers say it's important to find travel accommodations with strict COVID-19 hygiene protocols. So that definitely still is in the environment when you travel, and we'll cover a few of those things today as far as what's out there and everything. So let me introduce myself first. My name is Gary Spears. I work at Spears Travel here in Bartlesville. We have an office right across the street over here, and we also have an office in Tulsa at 81st and Memorial. And we've been in the business. Spears Travel has been around a long time, 1958. My mom actually started the business, and then my dad got in the business pretty shortly afterwards. And so it's a family business. We've been around since that long, for 58, and I've been working there since 1977. I've kind of done every parts of the travel business, and learned a lot doing corporate, doing leisure, doing accounting, everything that's involved. And I'm housed here in the Bartlesville office, and my brother Greg works in the Tulsa office. So it's a good family business, and fortunately we've survived this last year. It wasn't easy in the travel business, but we are gaining momentum for sure. And the leisure travel seems to be coming back a lot quicker than corporate travel. And we do both. We do corporate and leisure. So we have agents that are expertise, in leisure and expertise in corporate business travel. And so that's, I think, one of the key points hope I get across today. Whether you're calling up Spears Travel or any travel agency, there seems like travel agencies are more and more important now than ever before, prior to the pandemic. And if you've been thinking about traveling and you've gone out there on the internet and you've kind of searched around and everything, it's almost overwhelming. And then you add on the all the requirements and things like that based on to do with COVID, then it's a lot more overwhelming problem to figure out on your own. So that's why call up an expert travel agent, and they know all that stuff. They know the requirements. They know the testing and that kind of stuff. So I'll start off with our website, which is posted right behind me here. So there's a lot of good information on that website. It's just spearstravel.com. We've got lots of travel deals. We've got specific. You can contact a specific agent that's listed there. That's their expertise might be honeymoons or Bahamas or something like that. So whatever you're interested, that will pop up, and you can contact the agents directly. And the other thing is you'll notice up there that we're part of the Travel Leaders Global Network, and we're a franchisee company. So we've been with Travel Leaders quite a while, and they're a big global travel company. And even though we're local, we're owned locally, we're part of this global travel company, and that gives us a lot of expertise behind the scenes, a lot of deals and discounts with vendors that they're able to negotiate, based on the overall volume that we can't really do as a local agency. So that gives us a lot of benefits that we can pass on to you, the consumer. And, that's why I hope you'll go to the website, and if you're looking for something vacation-wise or something like that, go there, because there's, like I said, lots of specials, travel deals, and all that kind of stuff. So another part of our company, we're members of ASTA, and that's the American Society of Travel Arrangers, and that's a kind of a travel agency conglomeration that supports all travel agencies in the country. So that's a good part, and they've really come in handy this during the COVID stuff of making sure travel agents are included when they're passing out money and stuff like that. So they've worked hard during this last year. Another thing I want to point out that, and I probably can't show you this, but on one of our links there, we have a program that's called Book with Confidence. And this is something that Travel Leaders has put together. And it's got, I think it's like an ebook that you can pull up on the internet. And, ask an agent, we can give you the link. But if you're getting ready to travel someplace, this has all the pertinent information that you need to know, from everywhere from before your trip, how to pack for it, what kind of testing and, masks are required for wherever you're going. During your trip, what's it like at the airport? What's it like to get transportation? All of these safety protocols are built into this ebook, I call it, that is just, and it's updated constantly because Travel Leaders is doing it. So that's been a real big success. It's called Book with Confidence. And, if you get an email from one of us at the agency, that's on the bottom of our link there on our signature page, Book with Confidence. So it's an excellent, excellent resource for anybody that's thinking about traveling. And it would never find that stuff if you just went out and Googled something like that, because this is all, put together for you, just the traveler. So hope that makes sense. I think it's got 57 pages of trip tips and resources that you can just access from your laptop, your phone, or wherever. So that's the next step. Did I finish talking about Gary Spears? I guess. I definitely, I love the travel business. I've been in the travel business a long time. And, one of my kind of expertise that I get involved with is I do astronomy travel. And I think you all have an astronomy club that meets here. Yeah, so, I've done astronomy trips all over the world, mainly chasing total solar eclipses. And we had one, just an annular solar eclipse just 2 days ago in the eastern part of the U.S. You probably saw that on the news and stuff. But we do that. We do aurora trips to Iceland. We've got a trip to Iceland in October to go up and see the aurora. We work with Sky Telescope magazine, so they're real famous. And then we've done, like I said, I've done eclipse trips all over the place. My next big eclipse trip is going to be in Mexico in 2024. We're already working on it, so it's a crazy fun business. But that's a little bit more about the business. And Spears Travel does leisure, corporate, groups, any kind of travel, cruises, and I'll talk about cruises for a second here. So cruises are coming back. It's been a very, very slow process. And for the most part, most of the cruises right now are going to say you have to be vaccinated. So if you haven't gotten vaccinated, there's a good reason to go do it. So you can go on a cruise. Because when they do, they are starting to book now, and they are starting to travel out of the U.S. They've been traveling internationally for months, but the CDC has kind of put their thumbprint on their traveling out of the U.S. until just recently. So if you've never been on a cruise, it's a great vacation. It's kind of just get there, you unpack, you stay in the same place, excellent food, entertainment, plus you get to go to all the different ports and, experience all of that flavor of, the different islands and, that kind of stuff. So that's definitely worth seeing for sure, or worth doing if you have not been on a cruise. So a couple of things on what's popular now. I know that was one of the questions, and what's open. So beaches, Caribbean beaches especially, are very popular, and that's been going for a few months now as far as people traveling down to the Caribbean. Virgin Islands, for instance, you don't need a passport, so that's someplace you could look at if you didn't want to mess with a passport. Florida beaches are real popular, and you can go, the Atlantic side, Miami, or Fort Lauderdale, or the Gulf Coast side of Tampa, or the Destin area has a lot of really nice beaches in there. And of course, you have Texas beaches, South Padre or Galveston, and those are popular, and those are easier to get to. And of course, one of my most popular favorite destinations is Disney, and both Disney parks are now open. In fact, they announced just this week that no more masks are going to be required at Disney World. So that's a huge step. And then the big news upcoming is that the fireworks are going to start back up at Epcot in July. So, that's, if you've never seen that or done that, that is so much fun. Go to Epcot at night, everybody surrounds the lake, and they got these fireworks going off in the lake. And of course, the music synchronized with it all around the lake with all these speakers and everything. It's fantastic. So, if you ever thought about a Disney trip, now's the time to start thinking more about it. Of course, Las Vegas, that's a popular destination. That's open now. Things will start coming back there quickly. So, if you're wanting to go to Vegas, don't hesitate to do it quickly. And then New York is coming back, finally. So, they've got, Broadway tickets are back in September. They're going to start back up in September, and actually tickets are on sale now for the most popular Broadway shows. So that's something to think about too. And of course, I said Disney was one of my favorite destinations, but actually Hawaii is my favorite destination. And Hawaii's open. Hawaii's in the U.S. Okay, so you don't have to bother with traveling outside the U.S., but you got that flavor of being outside of the U.S. And especially if you island hop and go to different islands, you can see excellent beaches and excellent scenery and excellent food, and you get it all in different environments at each island, but you're still in the U.S. So that's what I love about Hawaii. So Alaska now is starting to book again, believe it or not. There are going to be some cruises this summer going to Alaska. The space is going to go quickly on that. And of course, you can go to Alaska as just a tour. That's open too. And as long as they bypass Canada, which I don't know why they came up with that rule, because it seems to hurt Canada. But you can't stop in Canada, but you can go on to Alaska, no problem. So there's a lot of deals for cruises right now, and so I wouldn't hesitate if you're thinking of a cruise, even for next year. It's going to be very popular. There's some good deals out there, but you want to go start looking at it and thinking about it. Give one of our agents a call and start booking that. So I want to talk now about a couple of things as far as traveling, international, just generic stuff. So the Real ID, I'm sure you all have heard about Real ID. So that's been postponed again. So now you don't need that until May of 2023. So that kind of gives everybody relief. Once that happens, and I don't think it'll hopefully not get postponed again, but basically, that you're going to have that to travel through an airport or go to a government building or anything like that. So, that's still going there. If you're going outside of the USA and you're coming back, you have to get COVID tested. And the nice thing about that is most of the resorts and stuff that we work with, especially through our preferred vendors, Um, if you're going to St. Lucia or someplace like that, they will administer the test before your return. And so a lot of it's part of the package that you're purchasing, and they got it all figured out, and they'll do it right there at the hotel. And so when you're ready to come back, they'll get you tested and get you back home smoothly. So um, so important travel guidelines. I jotted this stuff down. So I think number one, like I mentioned earlier, talk to an expert, okay? And today's environment, especially if you're traveling internationally, there's not only the COVID stuff, but there's documentation that you've got to have. A lot of them are making you fill out these forms, like 3 days in advance, and you can't be 4 days in advance. So you have to, it has to be figured out and monitored closely that you get it done. But that's why I say talk to an expert, because they're going to know all about that. They've talked to, they've done it. They've talked to the vendors. They've talked to the airlines, and they know everything that's going to be there. Know all your COVID requirements, because there are, like I said, there's documentation required for international destinations. I know my Iceland trip in October, okay, Iceland is open. You can travel there, but you have to have a vaccination or proof that you've had COVID. So it's not a matter of getting tested or anything. They're saying you got to have one or the other. So another reason to get the vaccine. Get to the airport early, okay, because the airports, I think TSA this weekend or something broke another record, post-COVID record of travelers for the day. And that's going to continue, I think, to increase. As that increases, the airlines are going to pump on more and more flights, but that makes the airports more and more crowded. So you definitely don't want to, sit back and leisurely get to the airport. You need to really pay attention of how far in advance you need to get to the airport, which is really important. So it may have been a while since you've traveled last, okay? So I've come up with 8 things to remember so you don't look like a rookie when you're traveling, okay? So we don't want to look like a rookie when we're traveling. So number one is put your personal belongings in your bag before security. So empty your pockets, put it in the bag. The bag goes through security. You don't get stopped when you go through security because you left a pen or something in your pocket. So I've always done that, and that always saves me from getting stopped. So that's a great hint to just put everything in your bag. Make sure you get rid of any liquids before getting to security. You can't take liquids through, buy it once you get on the other side, but you'll see people more and more walk up there with a bottle of water, and they'll have it in their bag, and they'll get stopped, and it delays everybody, and they got to take that bottle of water and throw it in the trash. So don't forget about that. Number 3, make sure your expedited security tools are up to date. So I don't know how many have heard of like the pre-check, okay? So pre-check and going through airport means that you've already sent TSA your information, and they've approved you as a frequent flyer, okay? And you don't have to be flying every month to get this. You can get it pretty easily nowadays. But what that means is when you're going to security, they got a special line for pre-check people. And when you get to that line, you don't have to take your belt off, your shoes off, so it's a lot easier going through the line if you're a pre-check person. So definitely recommended to do that. It's called, pre-check or known traveler. And like I said, our agents can help you get one if you're interested in that. Still, masks are required in airports and on airplanes, so make sure that you keep to that requirement there. Don't crowd the gate, okay? The frequent flyer guy knows he can sit back and wait. He doesn't need to stand at the gate, and you see this all the time. But there's no need to crowd the gate and wait there until they call your boarding card up. So just relax, sit back, you'll get on the plane. So, and then the same thing coming off the plane, you'll see everybody stand up at once and trying to get off the plane at once. There's a way to get off the plane, so make sure it's your turn before you're getting off the plane. That just helps everybody. And then, give people space at baggage claim. You'll see people crowding up to the baggage claim where you can't even get to your bag. So relax, sit back. Travel can be hectic, but it's also can be a very fun time and lots of memories. So sit back, relax, and you'll get your bag. And the most important thing is be kind and patient, to other people around. So, that's just going to make the whole travel experience better for you, better for your family, and better for everybody else that's around you. So those are some nice little tips to get us started back in our travel mode, which is where we're wanting to go. So do you all have any questions, or I don't know how that works, or? Yes, okay. So she asked me about travel insurance, and travel insurance is highly recommended. We sell it. Our main preferred is Allianz Insurance Company, and we've been selling them for a long time. And there's different plans, but I try to push travel insurance, for every kind of travel, because it is insurance. So hopefully you don't need it, but if you do need it, it's very important to have it. I remember I took a trip to Iceland once, and the first night we stopped out to see the Northern Lights. So we were kind of on the side of the road, and the lady there slipped and just completely broke her ankle, and ended up in the hospital and in Reykjavik and everything else. But fortunately, she had insurance, so the insurance helped her pay for the hospital, helped her pay to get back home. So there's just lots and lots of advantages. That's a good question, because that's something we definitely want to push, and hopefully people do, take advantage of that. Okay, so I don't know if I can hear you, but the whole question is, do I have to book the whole vacation through the travel company, or can we just book pieces? You can book pieces, sure. You're really more advantageous to book it all through the travel agency, because they're going to know the ins and outs of what you're wanting to try to do. So if you want to piecemeal it, you can certainly do that. And sometimes it's required, maybe like a theater ticket or something like that. They may send you the best place to go buy that on your own. So passport's imperative if you're traveling internationally. I would say that if you're ever even thinking of traveling internationally, that you get a passport. They're valid for 10 years. They're pretty easy to get. Although they're a little backlog right now, you want to leave yourself plenty of time to get one if you are traveling internationally. But to me, it's just another form of, good ID to have. And, if I talked about the real ID earlier, so a passport, you don't need the real ID. So, it's that good of an identification. So I always recommend that people get passports, but you have to have it if you're traveling internationally. Yeah, you can use a passport instead of real ID at the airport. Okay, so the question is, good question, if you're going to a travel agency for the first time, how do you prepare for that? And you don't really need to prepare. What you want to know, the travel agent's going to ask you, how many people are going, what do you really like to do when you get there, how many nights, what's your budget, so you might figure out in advance what your budget is for that vacation. That's going to give them a lot better opportunities to figure out really what you want. And that's the great thing about, my agents. They're a lot more expertise in this than I am. They know how to ask those pertinent questions to say, okay, yeah, and they'll draw that information out of you so they can figure out, the perfect destination, the perfect vacation. I don't know. She's asking about other niches. We do some sports travel. We do some Tulsa University type trips, sports trips, and we've done some Oklahoma University trips in the past. So we've got that. And then, we've dealt with other companies and other groups and stuff that like to travel as a group. So we have people expertise on that, and we'll put the group together. I know my brother just took a group to Nashville, and stayed at the Grand Ole Opry House and all that kind of stuff. So, it's good to have some expertise on all that kind of stuff. No, she asked me if you book online, you get a better price, and I'm going to say no, because they're going to gear you up to what they want you to see. The travel agent is going to go out there and look at everything, okay? And we even have some discounts on airfares that'll beat some of those online sites. So even if you're looking at doing an air ticket, we're very competitive. Cruises, if you're booking a cruise, I mean, we're very competitive like that, especially with, the Travel Leaders Connection. And I'm going to, I've said this in the past that, if you see a cheaper cruise price, we'll match that. Okay, just let us know. And, that's how confident we are on our cruise pricing. But, I mean, I think, it's using an expert just has its advantages for sure. Good question. Well, so some of the 8 things that I mentioned earlier, because, not getting to the airport on time, having too quick of a connection someplace where you can't connect to your next flight because you miss it, not having your proper documentation, that's a problem. And one thing I like to point out too is don't overpack, okay? Because, you're traveling, you need to know that you're traveling. You're not, so pack like it, pack what you need, but don't overpack is the way I would put that. There's some stuff that you just don't really need if you're flying someplace. And that just makes it easier on you and wherever you're traveling to, if you're not overpacking. So keep room for that. If you're going to some place that you're going to go shopping, you should be aware of that. And keep some room so you can bring that stuff back, which is always fun to shop while you're, in certain destinations for sure. It goes into packing and stuff like that. It goes into, what to expect when you get there. It covers all of that. Just go to our website, find one of our contacts on there, say, I'd like to see that book with confidence. They'll email you the link on it, and you can browse right through it. It's, like I said, 57 pages, but it's constantly changing and evolving as we go on. I'll mention a couple other things here. I think I maybe mentioned before just about our offices. We've got the 2 offices. We do sell travel gift certificates, so a lot of people like to give those as a gift, especially maybe not last year, but this year I think it'll be a great Christmas gift for people. And we do have it. You can go on our website and sign up for our email list on there, so there's a place to do that. And we have great resources on our website, like I said, cruise deals and tour deals, and lots of things like that. Are we good? Or? All right, everybody out there in the audience, say hi. Okay, well, I enjoyed this, and hopefully you'll have some questions, and you can email us and let us know, or come by the public library here, and they'll let you get in contact with me, I guess. So. All right, thank you all. Have a great day.